Trollord Games. Join the fray.
Hello! We're here for GM Tricks of the Trade. I think that's what we're here for. What is it? May the 6th is what it is today. How's it going, Tanlil? Let me refresh that. That's confusing my tiny brain. Yes. That might have been from last week or something. I don't know. I have no idea. Maybe it wasn't. Maybe it is. Who knows? Doing pretty good. The sun's come out and drying the state up a little bit, so that's a good thing always. Allow us to actually move some stuff without getting everything soaking wet or stuck in the mud somewhere. And it's one of those things that getting stuck in the mud just infuriates me. I try to avoid it whenever I can, but I only have a two-wheel drive on my pickup, and it don't like the mud very much. So today's goal is to get to 1,200 followers. Surely we can do that. It's just one more person. We can get one new body on deck to join us at GM Tricks the Trade and give us a follow. Then we'll be golden. Yeah. We may do a raid. We may not. We're doing some revisiting some old tricks of the trade. My workload has been pretty extraordinary lately with the Warden, the Monster's Treasure Rare, goof up the Player's Archive and the Player's Handbook CKG. I haven't had any time to put some GMTTs out, but surely by next week the dust will have settled. Hopefully by next week the dust will have settled. Yeah, that Warden book is gigantic. It's absolutely huge. I knew it was going to be huge, but how big? And it looks good. They did a fantastic job with it. I'm very happy with it. Walsworth is a great printer, but as regular visitors to the stream know, I'm not a big fan of breaking the 376 page, 380 page mark. After that, I worry about the binding. We Smythe Sew anyways, which is really good stout binding, but I don't know. Looking at it, it's stoutly put together. It's still very big. It's very big. It is jam packed. We should be. I'm not sure if we'll start next week, but the week after next, we'll definitely be shipping the Warden. We may even begin next week rolling that sucker out and getting that into everybody's hands. Of course, the Monsters and Treasures of Rare 5th edition had to go back to the printers to get rebound, and they're on top of that now. We shipped it Monday afternoon. It probably got there yesterday, maybe today, and so they'll dive into it pretty quick and get that thing fixed, which will be good. So it'll probably come lumbering back in our direction about the time we're ready to ship the Warden, which is all good. We'll just ship it all in a couple of days. If we can get the CKG off to the printers, which we should be able to with no problem, that can be printing while we're shipping all this other stuff, and then that just leaves our big focus on the Player's Handbook and the NPC Almanac. How's it going, Geek Preacher? What's going on with you? I'm slowly adjusting to using TikTok. It's taking me a little bit of time, but I'm definitely getting there, step by step. And suddenly I find myself wanting a cheeseburger. I hope all is well in your neck of the woods. We're all getting ready for the semester to end and youngsters to come back. You know, it's funny. I never really thought, because I don't plan these things out much, but it never really occurred to me that with so many colleges requiring dorms, that kids can't get their own places, and when they come back, when semester ends, they have to come back home. And that never, and I don't mind, I love my kids, I love having them around, but it never crossed my mind that this is going to be the new pulse of life. So we're gearing up for that. That's our big thing. Mine came home from school this past weekend. Yep. We're cleaning out, and it's merging all of these, because they go to the dorms and our apartments. My oldest is in the apartment, campus apartment, whatever. So she's got a bed and furniture and all kinds of stuff. And blah, blah, blah. I mean, we all got to fit it back into this house. Just closed on a house a few hours ago. Fantastic, Geek Preacher. I know you're looking around for that. That is awesome. Congratulations on that. It's nice. It's nice to know where you're going to be putting your boots for the next little while. It gets nerve-wracking otherwise. And we have all been there. Everybody's been there for sure. But congratulations on that. That's very cool. And we need to talk more. We need to get into DMs and talk more about some projects that we've touched on. There's quite a number of things that have been floating for a while. I'm very, very glad that we're really hyper focused on getting these 5 books done so we can get back to doing stuff. I see, I gotta make a note. Always making notes. Every time I get on these streams, I start remembering things I'm supposed to have done and have not done. We'll give it a couple more minutes, let people wander in, and we'll get into the GM's tricks of the trade. And as always, first off, if you're just joining us, please give us a follow. We appreciate it. And as we're discussing these things, don't hesitate to throw your comments into the stream here, and let's break it all apart. I'd love to learn from each other. I'm going to see Larry on Monday. Oh, very cool. Tell Larry I said hello. I haven't seen him in a couple of years with COVID, and I don't think he was at the last Gary Con. It was physical. I can't remember. It's been way too long. And way too many things have happened since then. How's it going, Grey Pape? Let me see. We got, speaking of houses, Derek, Chuck's in transit doing some stuff, and Peter Bradley is also in transit doing some stuff. So there's a whole lot of, Tim's doing some rebuild, and there's all kinds of craziness going on with trolls all over the place trying to find a home. I need to build a giant warren under a mountain here in Arkansas and just have all the trolls live in the troll dens. That would be pretty awesome. He was at the last GC and I haven't seen him since then. Yeah, I haven't either. Heidi, how's it going, Willie? Gamer retirement. Oh, yeah, that's right. It's funny. So way back when in the 80s and 90s, there was a crew of us. Yeah, up to about, it was Matt Golden, myself, Todd Gray, Charlie Sifford. Chris Harris joined later, and then there was Mark Sandy and someone else. But the core of the group that went way back, that goes back to 86, was me, Mac, Todd, and Charlie. We started gaming with each other back in 1986 or 85. I'd have to ask Todd. We've been gaming ever since. Well, Charlie kind of, for a variety of reasons, had to step back, and I only see him once in a while. Still a very, very good friend of mine. But we had the chance to get together in this last week, the 4 of us, and it was really weird. It was like no time had passed. We were just bullshitting and joking and laughing just like we always do. It was kind of funny. Kind of weird. On my way, it's there. So I can hustle my words. There you go. All we need is a tavern in the troll dens, and we're golden. We're good to go. So... Yeah, we don't want a tavern in troll dens. That would reduce productivity probably far too much to warrant it. All right, we're going to dive in just a second as we unravel. Didn't Davis talk about selling shares in a European castle? Yeah, so Peter's always showing us these castles that pop up for sale in Europe, and they're pretty cheap, to be honest with you. Now, they're probably not as livable as perhaps you want them to be, but... they're pretty cheap. So Davis was throwing the idea out of a collective pool where we can all pool in and go, us and everybody out there and share this castle in some kind of a collective or something or the other. I don't know what. And we just have to have a little bit of electricity so that my refrigerator could work so that I could have cold Dr. Pepper. That's really the only thing I require. So beyond that, I'm good to go. Besides the Codex of Aird, what other books do you have that are source books talking more about the world? There's the Player's Guide to Aird. That would be the first one that comes to mind. And then Monsters and Treasures of Aird. That would be the second one. Player's Guide to Aird is only available in digital right now unless you're 5th edition. And 5th edition, it's in hardcover. We will get that PGA for CNC out soon. Well, probably 6 months. I don't know. At some point. You really need to do that. And then we've got a bunch of small books. I think 4 so far have come out where we're zooming in on areas and kind of detailing and highlighting all of that stuff. And then there is some fiction out there. A House of God and Other Tales, The Mirrored something, Castle of Spires. There's 3 or 4 collections of short stories out there that kind of help, beef all of that up. And I have finished laying out. I dove into it Sunday night. I got bored and just dove into it and laid out the next series of short stories. A Giant's Board, The Giant's Board, A Giant's Board, and Other Tales. And it's 4 more tales of Yorick and Ava. And I tasked Zoe Devos to give me some good art for these characters of ours. So stoked on the fiction side of things. Where do I send my money? Yeah, exactly. Well, I'd put Davis in charge of all that. How's it going, Epi? Hey, Axe, what's up? What is the difference between M&T of Aird and M&T? So the Monsters and Treasures is the standard book that's got all the standard monsters in it that everybody knows, orcs and dragons and all that stuff. The Monsters and Treasures of Aird is monsters that I have specifically designed for the mythologies and histories and cultures of Aird itself. So, for instance, there's orcs in both of those books, but the orcs in the M&T of A are Hlobane orcs, and they're the specific Alfstragian orcs. Then there's Ungarn and the Puyallup East and stuff like this, all kinds of stuff. So it's really, they're slightly more powerful, I think, than you're going to be accustomed to if you're using just the regular M&T, or if you're in the Dungeons and Dragons side of things, using whatever monster book they use. Is that for the M&T of A for 5th edition will be out, hopefully in the next couple weeks. We should just invest in getting a creative retreat for all the trolls and other publishers. There you go. That'd be pretty cool. We've actually talked about that for occasion. Tom Pellis and I have actually been looking at locations for something like this already. Look to Arkansas. Everything is inexpensive down here. It gets kind of hot, hard to get around, but it's inexpensive. And there's Escadilla that Greenwood put out. No, Escada that Greenwood put out. That's in Aird, right? So that it's not Greenwood. That is a Casey Christopherson, The Haunted Highlands. Escadilla, that's Escadia is the name of it. I think, isn't it? I can't remember. Casey's going to kill me. But yeah, that's also, we place that in Aird. Now that's kind of its own setting that you can play it in its own and put it in your world, or you can put it in Aird. So it's all, kind of one of those roundabouts. In which book can I find what symbols represent the gods of Aird, like what representation a certain god's cleric might carry as a holy symbol? That's in the Codex of Aird. I don't think that's in the Player's Guide to Aird, though it will be in the second printing of the Player's Guide to Aird. We'll do a cheat sheet on that. It might be. Can't remember. We're fixing to do with the world of Aird. So the Codex is almost sold out. We're going to reapproach, repackage, readdress the whole presentation of the world of Aird. Several things are going to happen. The Codex of Aird, we're going to allow that to go out of print. And I'm going to chop this stuff up. The Andanuth, which is the first part of the Codex of Aird, will go into a novel. And it will only be published in novel format as support material for the Codex. And then the book itself will be reduced by 100-odd pages and made more gamer friendly so that you can get into play really, really quick. And if you really want to get into the histories, you can go get the novel. And then the Player's Guide to Aird, probably changing the Trail Guide to Aird. I can't really, I think that was your comment. I can't remember who came up with that title. It's a fantastic title. It immediately went into our listing over here. So there's going to be, we're just going to reapproach how we're doing Aird and presenting Aird. Pretty excited about that in the coming months. Does anyone here remember Talislanta? That sounds really familiar, Tabletop. Where is that from? Talislanta, is that sounds really familiar. Is that a board game with a dragon on the front? No, that can't be that one. That's something else. Is TLG doing a Planescape book? I thought you mentioned that. Yes, absolutely, Statler. That's actually, we're going to tie the Planescape book with the Aird redo and the Inzaya setting. That's Davis and I kind of working on all the kinks here, and then Tim and I got to sit down and figure out what best approach to do with all of that stuff. But the Planescapes is what I want to be doing the most. And we're going to tie that with the Aird reapproach. And as soon as we get these 5 Kickstarters wrapped up, and we are dangerously close to getting these wrapped up, it really is just a lot of heavy lifting on me and Peter's part right now as we lay these books out and get everything formatted and put together, because they're ready. They're ready, and then the actual physical shipping of it. So these things are very, very close to being done, and like it always happens with TLG, they're all going to get wrapped up within like a 10-day period or some craziness like that. Taskmaster was an RPG that had this slogan, "No elves." There you go. You need a tagline for everything. Will you be incorporating the various regional Codex volumes into the main book? No, I don't think so, because those that we've already got 80 pages of material, and I intend to do about another 10 of those, I think. So that would be another 240 pages of material, which would make the Codex a 500-page book. So those will be, we'll continue to put those out as smaller books, and then probably combine them maybe into a set later, because those are, for those of you who don't know, we're doing, if you look at the World of Air behind me, the Codex covers discussions on countries and terrain and all of that stuff, but it doesn't zoom in on all the cities and every local area. The smaller books, the expansion books, those do zoom in on the little area. So that's those will definitely be, there'll be more of those coming, but we won't jam them into that. Yeah, we'll definitely be doing a Planescapes Kickstarter. That's kind of what we're looking at next. The Robert E. Howard one we're hoping to do this summer, and then we'll follow it up with Planescapes, and probably tying Air to that as well, is kind of the Trails Guide to Air and Isaiah and stuff like that. We got to get the Robert E. Howard one out first, but I want to get these other Kickstarters kind of wrapped before we dive into that one. That one's going to be a big one, take a lot of focus and energy, and I don't want anything at this point. I'm tired of things distracting us from wrapping up these Kickstarters, and we need to get them out. Plus, we need to get the CKG out and all this other stuff. I thought it because Zeb Cook was talking about creating Planescape on Lord Gazumba's show Sunday. That was interesting. Oh, that is interesting. Yeah, we're definitely, we've got it in the works. I've already done the Gahana and one of the other planes I can't remember now. So it's already rolling. I better hurry up. If you ever need a content contributor, let me know. I've been known to write a word or 10. Definitely tabletop. We'll reach out. We're very, like I said, we're dangerously close to getting there. How's it going, Crow? Crow. That doesn't sound right. Not the way you spelled that. Crow one? Well, I don't know. All right, so with that bizarrely angled segue, let's dive into the GM's tricks of the trade. Like I mentioned earlier in the show, I haven't had time to sit pen to paper and wrap these things up and get us another 5 tricks out. So we did a revisit back to GM's tricks of the trade number 6. So these go way back. So some of these may have been touched on before, or you may have seen a little bit at Crow. There you go. Too easy. So that worked. I did it right the first time. I second-guessed myself, and and I was wrong. Should never second-guess yourself. Isn't that what they say when you're doing a multiple choice test? If you mark C, leave it C. Don't go back and rethink it. I don't know if that's true or not. I haven't taken a test in many years. I hope I never have to take a test again. But you never know what's in the car. So the first trick of the trade tonight is begin your game with something grounded. I love to do this. It's too frequently, I think, GMs, because we get so caught up in what's going on. We get so caught up in what's going on in our own heads and the story that we want to tell, that we just roll out all of this epic stuff, and the players can't. They don't know what's going on in your noodle, so they get lost or bored, or have too many questions and derail and whatever. So I like to begin the games simply and very grounded. Obviously, the most popular thing to do is to begin a game in a tavern or an inn, something like that. So everybody's eating and drinking and they're reading the board of possible jobs or whatever it is. But you can do any number of things to have it grounded that way. They have a conversation. They meet up, gathering water drawing water from a well. One of them's on a wagon lumbering down the road, and they meet the other one. Anything that grounds the game in the beginning, that makes it that gives the players a texture that they can easily grab and easily, cognate and picture themselves doing. That immediately puts everybody in the mood to play. It helps get them into it. It helps you, kind of get focused on them, which is what you really should be doing, so that everybody can play and then, ease into your epic style of stuff. But I really like to begin the game in kind of a grounded sort of way. What do you mean I test your patience every time I jump on one of these streams? You never test my patience. It's all good. It's a great comment because it reminds me to remind those of you just joining the stream as we're discussing these GM tricks straight. Please throw your thoughts out there. Whether you agree or disagree, it's great, or you have your own thoughts, your own approaches to things. We love to kind of chomp them up and digest them here at GMTTT. No, wait, that's too many T's. GMTT, yeah. We love to chop this stuff up and go over it. So toss your hat in the ring, and if you have not done so, please give us a follow. We're one away from 1,200, and that's the show's goal today, is to get 1,200 follows. Being a non-traditional, we're not traditionally Dungeons and Dragons here, so we don't get the huge crowd of D&D players in, or whatever, to come and join us. We're kind of an outlier over here. Don't worry, we're getting better. I had my patience tested; it came back negative. Yeah. I think I have gained a great deal of patience in the past decade. I would say I'm 50 something. I can't remember how old I am. 52? I don't know. 54? I have no idea how old I am. But I could tell some years ago, and my wife and daughter had something to do with it, but my patience I just became more patient with people, things, and stuff. Things go wrong. I guess I came to the realization that shit's always going to go wrong no matter what you do. You can plan and plot and all this other stuff, but something's going to come unhinged. Something's not going to work. Something's not going to show up on time. Whatever it is. And you just kind of got to roll with it. I'm 53. Okay, well, that's good. At least I'm not 54. Maybe I am. I don't know. I've become more patient when I'm driving too. I still drive a little bit too fast, but I definitely am more patient. I just let people zoom by. I don't care. I just don't care. I agree. A beginning to a campaign or even a one shot can be fun when the opening is a grounded scenario, not an overused trope. Yeah, tropes are cool, and they are, but like you've said, it's best to just start it simple, start it easy. I did on TikTok. I did a GMTT on dirt. I was out cleaning the patio, and it had become a nightmare. You can go check the TikTok out. You can see where I paint Troll Lord or clean Troll Lord into the algae growing in front of the print shop and outside my office here. And it got dirt. I was covered in dirt, and it just got dirt on my head, in my mind, and I got to thinking that dirt is one of those things that a GM should really be using constantly, whether it's dirt on the body, the smell of dirt clinging to boots, dirt clinging to your clothes, dirt in your clothes, dirt in your eye in combat, dirt getting into an open wound. Dirt is something almost every single human, not all, because a lot of people in cities don't see dirt very often, but every single human can at least associate with. So I think dirt is a great way to start your game off with a description of very, small. It doesn't, you don't want to go into a 20-minute description of dirt. But just bring dirt into the game. Anything, and it's grounding. Anything that grounds you and grounds your players into I hate this word realistic, but into a realistic kind of approach to the game, so that before you begin with the dragons and the manticores and the freaks and all that other gobbledygook, they've got something they can see and something they can relate to, and then your game can go. And that was a fun TikTok. The whole power wash thing is fun to watch. Let me tell you, man, and I'm sure you know this tabletop, that stuff is addictive. So I was just going to clean in front of, because it had gotten so bad, in front of the print shop, and so I got all that cleaned off, and that's where I wrote Troll Lord. But the next chunk of concrete next to that, well, now it's dirty, and this is clean, so I cleaned that, and I'm just slowly working all over the place, and I'm cleaning the side of the house, just cleaning everything. There's certain tasks I thoroughly enjoy. I really enjoy. I like mowing the yard. I like to sweep, and I like to vacuum. And now I like to power wash. And I think all of those things are because you can see what you need to do, and then you can do it, and you can see what was done. Like when you mow the yard, I love mowing the yard. It is literally one of my favorite things to do. Your grass is high, you mow it, your grass is low. It's just nice. It's that feeling of accomplishment that's, misbound books or late postage or whatever, can't rob you of that sense of satisfaction. This is great for grounding. Yes, there you go, Scarlet Brotherhood. You win the pun. Well, if you ever get in a game with me, we will be talking about snow and ice. There you go. See, snow and ice is just as good as dirt because it's something most of us can relate to. Even now, most of the South can relate to it because we got hit with that bizarre ass, snowstorm a month ago, whenever that was, that hammered Texas and the rest of us. Yes, kill all grass as well. The new gun bodies. Each blade. There you go. I'm a huge fan of my lawn, and it doesn't look fantastic. It looks okay, but it's not one of those, But I'm always out there tinkering and messing with it. I have one player who will inevitably end up in a bath or river somewhere in the first few sessions. Yeah, that I have that a lot too. Of course, I do a lot of river crossings, lakes, and ponds. So that I love water in the game. I'm going to write a whole GM trick to the trade on how to use water. I absolutely love water, from rain to. I'm actually going to make a note of that. It's often easier for me to write these GMTs when I have a subject, something I can dive in. Oh yeah, I know what I do in this, and then I roll with it. Yeah, I mean, streams, lakes, all of that stuff, and they're going to end up in. And that again, it's just like snow and ice and dirt. It's something that they can relate to. It's something that most of your gamers are going to be able to say, oh, okay. They've had their feet wet. They've walked through water and it soaked into their shoe and it got their socks wet. Most people have experienced that. Not all, but most of us. Right, yes, Epi, that storm was horrific, and it really chewed Texas to pieces for whatever reason. But it was rough. I watched some of that crazy video coming out of people's apartments with the lines, water lines broken, and water just pouring out, and the supers couldn't get in, or the maintenance guys couldn't get in to fix it. So it's just a nightmare. Tactile terrain is always great. Wear and tear, survival in different environments is always fun. Yep, I absolutely love terrain. I don't do a lot of dungeon. I experimented actually in the last 2 sessions that I've run with a small dungeon spread over a large area with an epic feel, but less in it. So what I was trying to do was contain the idea of dungeons being these monolithic adventures that last forever and a day, and it's kind of repetitive. The thief listens at the door, they open the door, they check what's inside, whatever. That's my problem with dungeons, is they get so kind of repetitive in play, and it starts to numb everyone after a while. To get that numbness away, you got to throw lots of traps and monsters in there. Traps become frustrating very, very quickly, and at a certain point, it just breaks with the monsters because you don't. Why are all these monsters in this dungeon? What are they eating? So you get into this, other thing with dungeons. So I tried this new approach to dungeon, and trying to do exactly what you're talking about, Scarlet Brotherhood, is bring in that tactile environment. It's much more natural to do outdoors, on an outdoor adventures, from dirt to water to ice to, whatever it is, streams. It's just easier to do outside than it is underground. And very few people actually have their life's experiences to associate with what it's like being underground. I've splunked some when I was younger, and let me tell you, when you're in a cave and you turn your flashlight off, it's dark. Your eyes don't adjust. There's nothing to adjust to. There's no light. There's no ambient anything. Yeah, it's one of those things. I think that when you ground it, if you can ground it to something that people can associate with, then it's going to be much, much better in the big picture. Living environments. Yes, absolutely love living environments. All you have to do is cross that bridge. Yeah, whether or not natural to an environment is often catastrophic. Yes. That would be Texas, definitely. Dungeon ecology is rough. It really is. And I'm one of those, I wasn't this way always, but I have become this way. There's got to kind of be a reason for things. If you're way down in a dungeon and there's a lion down there, what? What is this lion doing? What is a manticore doing in a dungeon? He's got wings. So it's one of those things. It kind of breaks down that way. That's why so many GMs resort to undead, traps, things that don't need to eat. Right, so the undead is the perfect thing. But even the undead, I did this. So in this dungeon, interestingly enough, I put undead in it. And it quickly became, I don't want to say boring, that's not the right word, but for me it became a little bit frustrating. It was boring, it just wasn't that interesting. So I'm going to have to figure other stuff out. I scratched the final encounter. I had it kind of written up with some undead monsters in there. And I scratched it. I just tossed it and created a new monster on the spot because I wanted something different. And it was kind of this darkness that was down in there. Still Theater of the Mind, when you say tactile. Yeah, I mean, that really, if I understand your question correctly, that's really what I try to do is because I do Theater of the Mind more than I do I don't do technical hardly at all. I mean, we pull the miniatures out, but even area effect spells don't work like that. You rarely are going to say, okay, I affect these 6 squares. Even if I have a battle map out, I'm going to say, no, actually it doesn't work that way because everybody's moving, you're moving, all this stuff's going on. So you're going to hit these guys over here as it goes like this. And I'll give them as much of their, spell as I can, but I adjust things constantly. But if you can describe things as being tactile, I think you're golden. You really can catch people because people really can, they can associate with smells in a huge way. If you can bring smells to the game, they can associate with touching things and seeing things. Now, of course, taste is a whole different ball game. But thank you for the subscription, Tabletop Sentinel. Very, very much appreciated. Let's see, have we hit 1,200 followers? We have not gotten 1,200 followers yet. We just need one more follower. So if you're just joining us, please give us a follow and knock us over the top. Hey, Chad Skiles, how's it going, man? Hadn't seen you in a while. Hey, Real Long Shot. We are talking about grounding your opening scenarios. Let's see. Yeah, as my magically induced ice age has begun to melt, civilizations, creatures, and more are being revealed over time, and landscapes are changing. But I do use a good amount of undead and new versions of old monster. That's cool. I love the idea. Of course, in Arid, the Winter Dark ended 110 years ago when the world was locked in ice. So I love that concept of it. I've been wanting to actually write up Arid under the Winter Dark as a kind of a supplement, playing in that mess. Tactile is a fantastic word, Tim. It's one of my favorite words. It's right up there with nevertheless. I love nevertheless. It's just a great word. It's just very Germanic. Mentally tactile, make the PCs visualize it. Tactile as it can help and hinder the players. Yeah, definitely, absolutely. Never just. It's just the environment, like you said, it can help and it can hinder, and it should always be described such, or not even described as such, but just played as such. Scholar Brother got it. I was not sure if we were talking about actual mini or terrain. So close and yet so far. Yeah. Are we having a 1,200 follower party? Yeah, if we make it, Grey Pape, we'll do something. Doing great, thanks, and glad to catch you. Yeah, I'm glad you could make it. Mac Muddles has joined us. He's probably on the road listening to us via his phone would be my guess. So Mac, don't be doing anything dangerous out there. All right, so let's wander into Trick of the Trade number 2. Oh, hold on. All right, Steve, we know you're busy and there are all kinds of things going on, but while you are on the spot, give us a date for the next Steve Davis streamed game or a game with the old crew. I would love to get the old crew together. We're actually working on some software right now I think that will work really, really well. I'm introducing everyone to it very slowly because some of our crew aren't real keen on it. Me and new software. But so we try to get it together this week, and we're going to try again next week. I'm very pleased with it, and we'll be able to bring all you guys into it. It's very cool stuff. But for Davis running a game, probably not anytime soon. That I can assure you. I would create a second account if it would have to get 1,200. Yeah, let's not do that, but we'll get there. We'll get there before the show's over. So what we're doing? Oh yeah. So Trick of the Trade number 2. So this is a huge maneuvered around the question. Very definitely will play. we will attempt it. So Trick of the Trade number 2, and this is a huge pet peeve of mine. I probably fell into this way back in the 80s long ago, but it's something that just should never happen at the table. Never allow an NPC to dominate the table, particularly during combat. It's fine to have NPCs at the table. It's fine to have, and obviously I'm a huge fan of NPCs. It's fine to have all of this stuff, and they help the players, and they give them information or whatever it is. But they should never dominate. No player should walk away from the table thinking that their characters owe so much to this non-player character. Because essentially what you're doing is you're running the story, you're running the adventure both sides of the screen. and you're going to take away all of that stuff from the players, all of that success and all of the risk and all of the danger and all of the achievements. You're gonna rob them of that, because no matter what you do at that point, they're gonna feel as if the NPC took the lion's share of it, and they know the NPC is operating under certain advantages. Those advantages being you're the dungeon man or the game master and you're running the game, so they have an inside track. So don't ever do that, and especially in combat. Even if the combats are going horribly and bad, the NPC should not come in and save the day. Maybe if there's going to be a TPK and you don't want that to happen, maybe. But even then, you're going to wreck the spirit of those players if they're rescued by this non-entity, which essentially an NPC is. No matter how much you put into it, it's a non-entity to the party. So just don't overuse the NPCs. Use them constantly, but don't let them take over. Let's see. Amen, Steve. Especially dreaded DMPC sort. Yeah, it's just crazy. I've seen it happen a lot, and I've seen games where the GM will just walk the players through the adventure with this NPC, and it's and people, they don't complain. They don't know what's supposed to be. I don't know what's going on, but it's not a good thing to do. If you're doing it, stop doing it and let the players die. It's okay. It's going to come out better in the end if they do. They're probably his stat. I think there's a word for everything. On TikTok, I've been following some of these people that do word. What is it? What's the origin of a word? What is that called? Epidemiology? No, that's a science. That's a doctor. What is that word from where words come from? Whatever. It's exhausting. Having a brain is exhausting. It's just exhausting. I kind of envy. Entomology, etymology. There you go. That's what it is. Entomology is the study of insects. I don't know, man. Sometimes I wish we were, still back on the Serengeti, pulling grubworms and scraping flesh off of dead animals with our little scrapers. It's probably, it just didn't hurt the head so much. So there you go. I think I missed it, but the players won't be able to defeat the mated pair of krakens. They need to fight the next session. Yeah. I mean, if you ever found yourself between the kraken during the mating season, that would be tough. You need between I almost said it. It could easily be construed as vulgar, so I'm going to drop it and not say it. A kraken and a whatever. I'm out of that one, tabletop. I'm backing out. I think y'all made it. Did we make it to 1,200? Well, let me refresh. I think we might have made it to 1,200. Let's see if we got. Did we do it? We didn't. Wait, it's not telling me we made it 1,200 heavy. So maybe mine's not refreshing. To me, a GM doing that would clearly rather be playing, which is fine. Just get someone else to. That's exactly right. GMs who do that frequently, I don't know. They're going overboard telling a story. They don't even want to be doing this. It's a good point, Chad. Just, hey, guy, come over here. Someone else take over the chair. Etymology, right, yeah, there you go. Right on, Steve. NPC is a resource for exposition, not a combat resource. I think you're right. Ramfiesel. Yeah. That's going to be my wife right there. She also is looking for those words, or following those TikTokers with words and driving everybody and says, what was the other one, Kat? The day after tomorrow is overmorrow. So remember, that's a great word. We all should be using overmorrow regardless. So there you go. So ramfieseled means you're frazzled a little bit. I think that's right. Entomology was part of my job in the Navy. Yay, Corman. Entomology. Well, what is entomology? I thought that was a study of insects. I have no idea. It's too much Latin in our language. There's just way too much Latin in our language. We need to just chuck it all out and go easy. Go simple. Go Arkansan. All right, so never let your NPCs bug chaser. Okay, there you go. Never let your NPCs dominate. The next trick of the trade, continuing on with the NPC theme, and this is something. It took me a long time to get this and to completely grasp this. Don't have the majority of your NPCs evil. Go the opposite route. The majority, and I mean the majority, like 90%. Majority should be good, helpful, or at the very minimum neutral to the party, so that they're not hampering them, they're not arguing with them, they're not haggling them to gain an extra silver piece or whatever it is. And the idea being that if the NPCs are constantly antagonistic, if every NPC that you bring into the table, or the majority of them, are antagonistic to the characters, the players are going to begin to turn on your NPCs very, very quickly, and they're never going to work with them. And essentially, what you do is you shut down a whole avenue of your GMing tricks, for the lack of a better word, but GMing and control. Because once your NPCs are removed, you've lost a huge part of the game, an absolutely huge part of the game. And if your party is constantly haranguing, attacking, ignoring, or whatever it is NPCs, that's a problem. So when you're running them, try to run most of them as just good people. And then look at it this way: if the players come in to buy whatever, say some rations, and they want to role play a haggle out, and they want the rations a little cheaper, chances are the merchant in reality would make it cheaper anyways. These players, these characters, these fighters and wizards and clerics are going to come in with a lot of gold in their pocket, and you want to sell in volume, right? So you don't want to just, I'll give you a gold piece off of your rations, blah blah blah, knowing that these guys, having got the discount here, are going to come back with their gold and spend it again. So even in a realistic zone, most of the people we meet in life are not antagonistic to us. Hello, steady customer. Yes, Statler, exactly. We all go out. We go to wherever you are. It's Walmart here. I think it's Costco out west, or I don't know what's going on in the east. But wherever you go, McDonald's, whatever, it doesn't matter. Gas station, most people are not antagonistic. Most of them are probably indifferent. They'll say hello to you, or they won't, or whatever, but they're not like, running at you, screaming and yelling, or trying to take something from you. Carry that same concept over to your table. Have your NPCs just be good people. They're just normal, good people. Just they tilt to the good. And it'll make your games so much easier. You will be stunned. Once you've kind of taught the players, that's a horrible way to put that. Once you've conditioned the players, that might be a worse way to put it. I'm not sure. Once you've conditioned to teach them that NPCs are a viable part of the game and aren't, there to hamper you, you're going to be better off for it, without a doubt. So close to 12 and follow ourselves. We're still lingering. We're still lingering one away. I prefer Mega Low Mart myself. There you go. By and large, is that out east, Vic Danger? And Canada's got to have something, right? There's got to be something up in Canada that's... Vic, are you in Canada? I can't remember now. But, Epi, I know you're down in Texas. I don't think we have Mega Low Marts here. We do have Walmarts everywhere. Of course, Walmart is... what is the one that's sprung up all over the place? Dollar General. Yeah, Walmart's located here, but we got Dollar Generals just exploding everywhere. Conditioned players, okay, cattle prods, yeah. Yeah, maybe not quite like that. Though maybe. Sometimes you might want to do that. Probably not. We are not in any way condoning using cattle prods to strike your players with. I did have a GM, I think we talked about this a couple weeks ago, that would hurl dice. Just randomly hurl dice at the players. He never did it to me. I don't think it would have gone over as well as you thought. Central New York. There you go. So you got by and large in Central New York. So Costco, Walmart, by and large. Yeah, I can do that. And then whatever app he's talking about with his Mega Low Mart. I've never heard of it, but we'll assume it's a Texas thing. Love this. I made this mistake in my early DMing days years ago of stringing one too many betraying NPCs together, and my party became paranoid in talking to everyone else they came across for a long time. That's exactly, Chad, that is exactly what happened to me. It was years of doing these NPCs that aren't helpful. They weren't necessarily betraying the party, but they weren't helpful. They were actively unhelpful. And so, a couple of years of doing that, the players are like, okay, everybody's an ass. I'm not dealing with anybody. And later, as I began to evolve the game, and it became bigger and more fleshed out, and things going on, here, there, and yon, it was hard. It was hard to uncondition that what I had conditioned them of. Hats off to those who caught that King of the Hill reference. I did not. I haven't watched King of the Hill in forever and a day. I need to go check that out. I got like season 8 up through season 8 of The Simpsons, and petered off on that, because it's like 30 seasons? I don't know. There's a lot of seasons of a lot of seasons of The Simpsons. By and large, is that next to the law firm Dewey Screw and Hal? Yeah, there you go. By and large, was from the movie WALL-E. Oh! WALL-E, I should know that. We watched my youngest when he was much younger. Man, good heavens, he liked WALL-E. We watched that movie over and over and over again. It's a good movie. If you've not seen WALL-E, I recommend it. It is a very cool movie. I thought Megalomart was the king of the hill standing for... Oh, there you go. Okay, so Epi got us. Greetings, Dusters. Welcome to Felworth's Trading Post and Apothecary. Take your time perusing the wares and let me know if you need any help. I am Felwer, and you and your coin are welcome. See, there you go. That is the absolute perfect NPC shopkeeper right there. And you could carry that over into a barkeep, a tavern keep, an innkeeper, whatever it is, because merchants want to make money. And let's face it, if you're talking about just a regular economy, when an adventuring party comes in, just having looted some ogre hole, and they've got, 300-400 gold pieces, that's a lot of money they're willing to throw around town. Now, I probably use too much electricity bills that I have already. There you go. 10 more minutes, then I have to Zoom with Gen Con about TikTok. There you go. Oh, very cool. If you have not, everybody, if you're on TikTok, Tabletop Santa has a great TikTok show, channel, whatever you call it on TikTok. Whatever. Go to TikTok, follow Tabletop Santa over there. And he's got all kinds of news, unboxings, all kinds of stuff. It's really great stuff. I saw your TikTok with the natural 20 trying to get in the trunk. That was pretty cool. It was very entertaining. Been enjoying the responses to it. So let's dive into Trigger the Trade number 4. So this is something that it's an interesting subject to me, the metagaming. And I don't know that it still gets this, but it was getting a lot of... Yeah, there's the link for Tabletop Santa's TikTok. It's great stuff. There's, for a while, metagaming seemed to have gotten a really bad rap. And metagaming, of course, is when you say things outside of the game. When you're trying to determine whatever, blah, blah, blah. Just the big picture stuff, whatever. Real world stuff in the game. And it's... I got almost 200 new followers with the crack. Oh, that's very cool. That's very cool. Yes, it's an absolutely great TikTok. Yeah, go enjoy it. If you haven't got on TikTok, I do recommend it. They got great algorithms over there, and you can quickly get your own thing streamed, kind of whatever they call it, feed. I don't know, kind of built towards what you enjoy. It's kind of nice. I got a whole lot of gaming stuff on my feed, so it's great. So at any rate, so I think metagaming is fine. I think that though it got a bad rep for a while, I think it's undeservedly so because it's sort of like house cleaning. No one really wants to house clean, but you have to, right? You have to stop, clean the house, clean the kitchen so that you can have your next meal, and that's sort of what metagaming is. You step back from the table and say, okay, guys, this is what's going on. What do you want to do next? And a perfect example of that is we actually hit a milestone, a huge unlocked an achievement, as they would say in the video game world, in our last session last Sunday. And now I, as the CK, need to know, the GM need to know what they plan to do next. They achieved this thing. They've been trying to get there for about 10 games. They got there. They overcame the dungeon and got the threads of Mordias. What's next? So they gotta tell me what they're doing, and that's metagaming. We just metagamed for about 20 minutes as we kind of outlined what's going to happen next. And I gotta tell you, these younger people are cracking me up. They are literally, their characters are taking 2 years off so that they can practice secondary skills. One of them wants to become immune to poison, one wants to build a tower, and one wants to build a shop so that he can start earning income on the side. It's just the craziest things. These guys are absolutely cracking me up with the way they're approaching the game. We're going to fast forward time 2 years and pick things back up. And there'll be at the next session this weekend, there's going to be a lot of metagaming. Probably a good 45 minutes of it as the guild grows and shop tower and whatever it is. There's going to be some metagaming. So I think that if metagaming leaves a bad taste in your mouth, spit and move on, because it's actually a good, huge tool that all GMs should be using, and don't think of it in a bad way. You got to just step back, reread the next script, and see what's happening. Did we make it? Did we make 100? We made 1,201 followers. Excellent. Good deal. Whoever put us over the top, thank you very much. Very, very appreciate the follows. And if you have not, please give us a follow. We did make our goal of 1,200. That doesn't mean we want less, so just throw it up there. Let's see, what do we got here? I may join TikTok solely to see Steve's stuff. Yeah, I'm actually, it's so easy to post on TikTok, Chad, that I've put up some videos. Like today's video was just how much boxes, the truckload of boxes that we brought in to begin shipping. I put up a video. I'm doing GM's tricks of the trade there. But I put up a video on fixing the binder, on cutting books, just stuff that we do here in the Troll Dens, keeping the business rolling, and what it is we do. So definitely check out our TikTok if you're over there. It's a lot of fun, and they're easy. They're very easy to post. There's our TikTok. It's just simple. And in this day and age, there's so many things. There's so many avenues that we as a publisher have to kind of pay attention to, much less as gamers where we're wanting to pay attention to, that simpler is better, right? And it's easy. TikTok's just easy. But all those new followers must have heard about the creative use of spells like floating disc. That's what it is. It's floating disc, bringing them in by the droves. Yeah, I'm going to get into that spell there, Great Babe. I'm on the player's handbook, hopefully by next week. I'm going to get into that spell. Thanks, Blue Box. Thank you very much. Let's see, what are we doing here? Blah, 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 blah. I like using it to flesh out certain aspects of the world, like deities in the Pantheon. I may not have one for everything so when a player wants to run a cleric of a god I haven't created yet, I have them tell me all about their god, and bam, new deity in game. Yeah, that's very cool. That's a great way to engage players. That's an absolute great way to engage players and bring them in on the world itself. And then what's really cool about that type of gaming is they've now got a vested interest. Yeah, vested interest. Man, I read a Skype and it derailed my head. A vested interest in your world. It becomes a little bit of their world, and that's very cool. So anything you can do, anytime you can do something like that, it's really the way to go. You want your players to want to be part of that world, and if they feel like they're actually contributing to it, it's going to help tenfold the game. They're going to have more fun. You're going to have more fun. And what's cool is the world gets more flesh. There's a lot of the world of Air came out of my table playing with Mac and Chris and Todd and Charlie and Mark Sandy and who am I missing? David Hockey? Maybe. But anyways, all of these people, a whole lot of the world was created off of that. Sarah, Laura, is just a whole lot of the world was created off of that. Then when it's most critical, say, hey, this isn't the book, and take away their spells. I think I came into something there. There you go. The last time it happened, the cleric worships the trickster god, and now Santa exists as the god of tricks and toys. Oh, that's pretty cool. I'm a huge fan of Santa Claus, so and I love toys. I wish I could have been a toy maker. Sort of am a toy maker, but not really. All right, good deal. So we're going to do the last trick of the trade here. We are going to do a raid as we exit, so if you can hang out for that, we will be raiding Bearded Guys Gaming here in just a few minutes. So let's dive into the last little thing, and this is where the picture and the GM's tricks of the trade, little whatever the hell that is. Your toys include elves. You win. There you go. Always wanted to be a toy maker. There was a Robin Williams movie about toy making, toys or something. I can't remember. I like Robin Williams. He's a good actor. That dude cracked me up. At any rate, so go with the unique. So when your players do something that's strange, that's odd, that's out of the ordinary, that you didn't expect, it's just surprising. Go with it. Go with the flow. Don't hamper their creativity. Don't come down on them like a bag of hammers. Even if it's not going to work, give it a little bit of juice so that it gets some mileage out of it before it fails, whatever it is. Because you'll be surprised at, and it just plays right into what Tabletop Santa's talking about. You would be surprised at how much more vested in the game they get when they feel as if things they're doing, even wild, kind of unpredictable and odd things, impact the game and succeed occasionally. And even if they don't succeed, if they're there, they attempted it. It wasn't a great idea. It failed, but what an idea it was, And I always go back. This image here, of course, is from the movie Dragon Slayer. And when you're watching, I don't want to give any spoilers, but those of you who have seen the movie know the wizard is standing there with the knife, and what happens next, you're just stunned when you're watching. And it was very weird. It was very unique. It was very out of the ordinary. It wasn't what anyone expected, so whoever wrote that did a fantastic job writing that. And when your players do that, go with it. Roll with that type of stuff. Toys, that movie was way darker than actually. Yeah, it was definitely dark. That's definitely true, Epi. It was definitely dark. But it's visuals for me. When I watch a movie, the visuals are about maybe half of it, if not more than half of it. The story can even be weak, and the acting and all of the stuff can kind of be weak if the visuals are really good. And the visuals in Toys was nothing short of astonishing. A lot of Robin Williams movies are that way. That what is the one I talk about all the time that I can never remember the title of? Not Something Wicked This Way Comes. That's a Jim Carrey. That's a book. Jim Carrey movie. I can't remember. It's the one where he goes to heaven. He goes to hell. I mean, he goes everywhere looking for his wife and child. I can't remember it. I can't remember that bloody movie. It's one of my favorite movies. Yeah. Anyways, go with the unique. If your players are going down that road, definitely go with it. And let them. What dreams may come. Yes, Epi. Thank you. That was it. I talk about the movie all the time, and I can never remember the title. And it's got a fantastic title. I mean, that movie has fantastic visuals in it. It's like Legend. If you haven't watched Legend, go watch Legend. The visuals are fantastic. Blade Runner, fantastic. I mean, and these movies, Prometheus, all of these things just have really cool visuals, and I love those things. Something Wicked This Way Comes is based on a Bradbury book. I did not know that. Is Jim Carrey in that movie? Did they do a movie, Something Wicked This Way Comes? They did not. I'm thinking, no, they did not. What is that Jim Carrey movie where he's in like a haunted house? No. He did? I don't know. I can't remember. I got the book. I got the book in there. I never read it, but anyway. I didn't see the movie either, so I don't know. I can't speak for any of that. I haven't watched Jim Carrey in years and years and years and years. I think when he played that state trooper with what's her name, I couldn't get into the movie, and his character bugged me, and I couldn't unhook it. And it's a rough thing when you're an actor, and I think you get into a role like that it becomes so memorable that people associate. And that's never a good thing because they're actors. They're just pretending. All right. So, anyways, yeah. If they're doing something unique, roll with it. Jason Robards. Thespians. That reminds Thespians. So this is going to go way back for those of you. Let's see if you can remember this one. Saturday Night Live, John Lovitz. That's as far as I can get you. It's on the news. It's on the news segment. I don't know who was doing the news when John Lovitz was on Miller? Something Miller? Dennis Miller. John Lovitz, Dennis Miller. So when John Lovitz, he had this section where he would, the thespian, M5 knows it, Blue Box knows it. Yeah, well, I wish I could get clips of that. I need to watch that whole 4 or 5 years of SNLs. Those were funny as hell. And John Lovitz, who I absolutely love, he did a character, acting, yes, where he would say some stupid crap and then he'd go, acting! Or, that was great. I absolutely love that stuff. There was also, he did Frenchie too, which was absolutely hysterical character on merely acting. I think Frenchie was one of the guests they would have on Miller's news show. Absolutely hysterical stuff. It was just really, really good. I like that stuff in those days. All right, that's a fantastic note to end on. So we're gonna roll out of here in just a minute. We're gonna do a raid to Bearded Guys Gaming. If you guys could stick it out for a little bit, about another minute or so. I'm gonna have to write this command down. I will tabletop. I will check it out right after this feed. I think it is raid / Bearded Guys. I can really type better than that. Bearded Guys Gaming. Okay, so we're gonna go with that. All right, so I'm gonna hit enter and see if this works. Did it work? I don't know that it worked. Tim, I don't think that worked. What am I doing? And I've lost Tim. Hey, Blue Box, I know you know how to do this. What's the command to raid? What are we doing? Lord of mercy. Probably, okay, maybe that's what it is. All right, we'll try that. Yes, that was it. All right. One of these days I'm going to memorize this mess. Oh, Lord have mercy. All right, let's try that. Did that work? Yes, that worked. All right, so thank you all for showing up. Surely do appreciate it. Thank you for the new follows. We'll see you next week, and let's plunge into this raid and visit the folks over there. Take it easy, y'all. All right, here we go.